Attention! What you're about to see is the exact moment when a Russian Su-27 fighter jet swoops down to sea level to hunt a simple Ukrainian drone and ends up exploding into 1,000 pieces. Miscalculation, or the beginning of a new world war, in less than 7 seconds. Subscribe if you believe Moscow was right to try destroying these Ukrainian drones, and if not, stay anyway, because what you're about to witness will leave you speechless. Exclusive thermal footage, impossible evasive maneuvers, and an ending that no one, not even in the Kremlin, wanted to admit. A move that could unleash something worse? Leave your opinion in the comments. At 0315 hours, a Mura maritime drone, call sign Alpha 111, emerges from the surface of the Black Sea, maintaining barely 10 centimeters of draft as it advances at 39 knots. No navigation lights are switched on, leaving only a barely visible wake in the darkness, 70 kilometers south of Odesa. Alpha 111 enters grid square Blackbird 5. The drone's electric motors emit only a faint hum, instantly drowned out by the ambient noise of wind and water as it slows down and waits for its prey. Inside a plane command van near Ochi, over 100 meters away, two operators hunch over glowing screens, hands wrapped around steaming mugs of coffee. They monitor thermal and electro-optical signals with expert vigilance. The FLIR display shows nothing but cold waves and the distant thermal signature of a Romanian oil rig. Then a flicker. A plume of heat materializes at the edge of the screen. Then another, both airborne. By 0412 hours, the thermal signatures resolve clearly. The thermal signatures define themselves. Two high-speed aircraft following a north-south trajectory at low altitude. Their silhouettes leave no doubt. Su-27 fighters executing a now familiar pattern in Russian Navy drone interception operations. One breaks formation and banks toward the estimated location of drone Alpha 111. The drone's automatic control system reacts instantly. It reduces speed to 18 knots and lowers its frame slightly, adopting a profile closer to the surface. Its movements begin to mimic the natural behavior of waves, and its thermal signature gradually adjusts until it blends with the temperature of the surrounding water. In seconds, Alpha 111 becomes practically invisible to both the naked eye and conventional thermal sensors. Meanwhile, the Su-27 initiates a controlled descent, slowly dropping with the goal of identifying any anomaly on the sea's surface. The pilot seeks visual confirmation. From that altitude, water reflections can deceive, and every shadow or disruption in wave patterns could be a potential target. But the drone has already vanished into the environment shielding it. The very waves act as dynamic camouflage. What the fighter pilot doesn't yet know is that his prey isn't fleeing but waiting, silently prepared for possible retaliation. Alpha 111 has entered passive evasion mode, concealing its thermal signature and minimizing all detectable emissions. The showdown is about to begin, but for now all remains silent. Searching for drones like this, the thermal sensor beneath its nose detects something, maybe a wave reflection, maybe something more. The operator whispers, he must have it in sight. His finger taps the screen, issuing a command. Alpha 111's targeting mast rises silently from its housing between the decks. Mounted on a stabilized platform is an adapted man-pad surface-to-air missile launcher, ready for action. The Su-27 begins a slow port turn. Its engine exhaust is now fully exposed to the sea below. It's time to find out whether this unprecedented gamble will pay off. If you look at the drone's central section, you'll notice that slender, retractable mast extending just behind the forward communications array. That's the Mura V5's electro-optical targeting mast, a maritime surveillance and targeting system built for minimal profile engagements from sea platforms. Housed inside the sealed casing are 3 sensors: a daytime camera, a long-wave infrared detector, and a precision laser rangefinder. The mast extends up to 1.2 meters above deck, giving optimal height for aiming at aerial threats while minimizing profile. The integrated laser rangefinder achieves accuracy within 2.3 meters at distances up to 5 kilometers, while the thermal optic can detect jet exhaust trails up to 3.1 kilometers away, even through sea haze. This capability lets the Mura acquire, track, and generate firing solutions against aerial targets without revealing its position via active radar. At 4:16 hours, the Su-27 hangs against the dawn sky, 1.8 kilometers away, its dark silhouette occasionally disappearing into clouds above. The fighter descends in a smooth arc, maintaining what pilots call a visual reconnaissance posture, slow enough to detect anomalies, fast enough to evade most ground fire. The flanker's twin engines push nearly 400 knots. The pilot banks left, setting up a wide lateral pass over the suspected contact zone. Inside the command van, the atmosphere is tense. Operators breathe shallowly, muscles taut as they watch the tactical screen. A targeting reticle flickers, then locks onto the approaching aircraft. The lead operator activates the laser rangefinder. A brief invisible pulse bounces off the target and returns. The screen flashes 1.68 kilometers. The mast auto-compensates for a sudden wave rocking the drone, its gyroscopic mount making micro-adjustments 50 times per second. No one speaks. The only sounds are cooling fans and the faint click of controls. Mounted on Alpha 111's reinforced central deck lies a modified Ukrainian 9K-38 manpads, known to NATO as the SA-18 Grouse, re-engineered onto a custom base with self-correcting stabilizers to offset sea movement. The weapon was never designed for maritime platforms, but engineering ingenuity has made it possible. With the fighter almost overhead, the operators give the order, "Fire 1!" The launch sequence ignites with a percussive thump reverberating through the drone's composite hull. A flare bursts from the missile motor, briefly bathing the surrounding water in bright orange light. The Igla streaks into the sky with a piercing shriek, leaving sparks and smoke in its wake. Alpha 111 jolts violently from recoil, slowing slightly to absorb the blast. Inside the Su-27 cockpit, warning indicators flare, missile lock tones blaring in the pilot's headset. His hand instinctively slams the countermeasures panel, releasing twin bursts of magnesium flares that blossom behind the jet. But too late. Caught mid-turn. He throttles up and banks hard, but it's not enough. The missile has locked onto his engine's heat signature and is closing fast. Exactly at 4:17:11, 68 kilometers south of Odesa, the Igla's proximity fuse detects the jet and detonates. Fragments rip into the Su-27's starboard engine, igniting fuel and shredding control surfaces. The fighter convulses mid-air, flames spouting from its fuselage. The pilot yanks the ejection handle and blasts free from the doomed jet seconds before its terminal fall begins. The Igla's compact design and heat-seeking guidance enabled a reliable off-platform engagement despite sea motion and instability. Its 2.5-second lock-and-fire cycle let the operator exploit the Su-27's low-speed turn, trapping it in an irreversible situation before it could climb or accelerate. Without the drone's stabilized mount, even a confirmed lock wouldn't have translated into a clean shot. But while it was a solid hit, it would mean nothing without reliable real-time communication. At 4:18, less than 60 seconds after missile impact, Alpha 111's camera captures the Su-27's final moments. Thermal feed shows the aircraft leaving a blazing trail of burning fuel as the fuselage disintegrates, arcing toward the sea. The pilot appears as a tiny dark figure suddenly separating from the jet, followed by the mushroom-like bloom of a parachute against the dawn sky. Inside the van, sweat runs down foreheads despite the cool air. The main screen shudders as shock waves reach the drone's hull. "Impact confirmed. We got him," one operator mutters, his knuckles whiten, gripping the console edge. No celebration. Everyone there knows what's coming. Every Russian asset in the Black Sea is now converging on this position with extreme hostility. Alpha 111's software initiates emergency evasion. The drone surges forward at maximum speed, skimming wave crests. Its hull occasionally slams the surface as it cuts east toward Grid Echo 6. The transmitter mast stays raised, streaming continuous feeds. Navigation data, video transmissions, targeting logs, all relayed to high command in Kyiv. The tactical screen suddenly lights with new contacts. 2 rotary wing signatures closing fast at 15 kilometers. The distinctive rotor blade pattern marks a Ka-52 Alligator, likely dispatched from its patrol station near Crimea's occupied waters. Alpha 111 has fired its only weapon, Now it relies solely on battery reserves and a prayer. In the van, the primary data link flickers. The display stutters between clear signal and pixelated noise. The secondary operator's fingers fly over his console, adjusting gain on the Starlink link panel. Comms degrade. He reports tensely, "The alligator must be jamming." The drone continues transmitting, but signal integrity is failing. One sustained dropout could mean losing the entire mission feed, including proof of the Su-27 shootdown. Without that evidence, Russian denial would stand. The lead operator punches in an emergency burst sequence. Alpha 111 responds instantly, veering 30 degrees northeast to align with the nearest satellite. Its main antenna flares as it channels maximum power into one last compressed data packet bound directly for servers in Kyiv. The digital pulse climbs skyward, carrying evidence that will shock military analysts worldwide. The Starlink-enabled burst ensures a complete post-strike analysis reaches Kyiv even as Russian interference shreds the link. Without it, FLIR footage, attack data, and impact confirmation might vanish, and the world would have no proof that a maritime drone downed a fighter jet. With the Ka-52 Alligator closing fast, the drone has less than 90 seconds to prove this happened. At 4:20, the Alligator emerges through haze, the helicopter's outline sharp against the dark horizon. Alpha 111 pushes full acceleration, 42 knots. Its hull rattles as it rides the waves, salt spray drenching its sensor mast as it flees. But the Alligator's crew isn't flying blind. They've tracked the missile launch signature and calculated intercept coordinates with precision. Inside the van, tension spikes. The lead operator flips the drone into eco-terrain evasion mode, tapping commands with slippery fingers. Alpha 111 responds immediately, diving into troughs between waves, maintaining a deliberate 6-degree yaw bias mimicking natural crest patterns. The drone's tactical AI triggers unpredictable heading changes while preserving general course. The screen shows a zigzag wake, but the evasive pattern isn't enough to break visual contact. At 4:21, the Russian Ka-52 Alligator enters hover mode. Its nose dips as it steadies a few hundred meters from Alpha 111. Having tracked its thermal signature and confirmed its position visually, the pilot aligns the 30mm autocannon. In seconds, everything changes. A first burst shatters dawn's calm. 30mm rounds rake across the water, striking Alpha 111 with surgical precision. One hit shears off the left stabilizer, spraying a 6-meter fountain and violently canting the drone to starboard. The hull vibrates, losing stability. Despite reinforced design, its frame begins to fail. Inside the command van, alarms flare across monitors. Power reserves plunge, battery indicators flashing red. The crisis deepens as a critical failure registers in the right side cooling system. Ducting has been punctured, internal temperature climbing out of control. The central system estimates less than 2 minutes to total failure. Though trained to stay calm, the operators exchange grim looks. No words are needed. Both know Alpha 111 is on the brink. What began as a covert success morphs into a race against time. The drone that felled a Russian fighter with one shot now faces its own fate before a helicopter armed to destroy it without mercy. At this moment, Alpha 111 is still transmitting data, but every second matters. Its main mission, capturing evidence and sending it to Kyiv, has already succeeded. Yet surviving this final strike would mean the difference between fleeting success or a lasting symbol of the new asymmetric war redefining the Black Sea. Soon the Alligator adjusts its position and makes a second pass. Its rounds punch through the drone's port side, obliterating the electro-optical mast in a spray of sparks and shattered composites. Back in the van, the video feed cuts instantly, static filling the display. But the mission's core goal is already achieved. The critical data package made it through seconds earlier. At 4:22, the Alligator descends for a final pass. A burst rips methodically along the drone's central spine. Shells penetrate vital system compartments. Alpha 111's hull fractures along structural seams. It rolls and sinks beneath the waves. And so, in less than 10 minutes, a drone the size of a jet ski not only managed to shoot down a Russian fighter worth tens of millions of dollars, it also exposed a vulnerability even the Kremlin's commanders weren't ready to admit. The pilot ejected and survived, But the message was clear. Air dominance is no longer guaranteed, not even over the sea. The inevitable question now: are we witnessing the beginning of the end of manned air power? Or simply another escalation that will turn the Black Sea into a theater of unrestricted war? Subscribe if you believe Russia will respond with full force. And if not, stay tuned, because the next drone may not carry just one missile, but something far more dangerous. This was not merely a shoot-down. It was a deliberate provocation, a direct message to the heart of Moscow. Was it an act of defense or the start of open war? Leave your opinion in the comments, because after this, no high command can sleep easy.